Hi everybody, Carol here. Welcome. Today I have my first card from the SSS January card kit, and I'm showing it to you here. And one of the first things I was drawn to was this beautiful silver glitter cardstock. And I started thinking, what do I want to do with this? I love it, and I had in my head a snowy scene with trees and deer. And so I decided to mount this paper or back it with more paper to really show it off. And so I had these two colors already glued together, and now I'm putting it down on top of I'm showing there that I already had it glued together off camera, and very subtle colors. I want it to be all about the scene, and then put it on this blue sheet of paper. And so I knew where I wanted to put it, the silver, and so I filled in with the bottom part with white to fill in the sheet, and that will become my snowbank. And so I'm just showing that's where it'll go, and I cut out these different pieces of snowbank and I numbered them as to which one would make more sense to glue down first. And so this one, and then the next one, a thinner piece, will go on top, and that just shows dimension. It's a hill in front of a hill or a snowdrift. And then a really thin strip, and you might ask, why am I doing that? And I'll explain that in just a minute, but first I want to show that I made myself a little map or template here, a design where I wanted these pieces to go. I had to do a little bit of figuring beforehand to show how I was going to lay this out, and I decided the best way to do is to lay it out and then put the strip of paper just as a guide as to where that strip ends, and I drew the two lines there, and then I have another strip with a very skinny little line at the end. And so that was, as long as I'm lined up at the top. And so this is where I wanted to put the last one. And as I was saying, the reason I skipped a part like that is because I did not want to cover up this gorgeous glitter paper. And so I just thought I'll just spread these out. Took a little artistic license there and just spread it out to show the paper. Now I made some birch trees, and I'll show later how I did that. And I'm going to the main thing, I've got to line them up with the top, and I actually made some marks on some of the underneath sheets of white cardstock down at their bottom, the snow, as to where I wanted to place those, and some little dotted lines that don't show. And so I'll show you real quick how somehow I saw this a long time ago. I have no idea where. How to make your own birch trees, and just cut some thin strips, or different sizes actually, and trim them out, just slightly curving them. Trees aren't typically just straight up and down. Maybe some are, but anyway, and then just take some teeny tiny little clips. I mean, it's just so simple really, but it makes such a difference. And you'll see the second little clip fall, and one clip in some instances, two together on others, and then this is how they go. Then I went back with some colored pencils and kind of colored in around those cuts. Kind of a reddish color, and then I go back with a copper pencil, and then I thought I'm going to do it on this other one because this is glued down to another sheet of paper and I can handle it better, but it's the same idea. And I'm just doing this randomly really, and then actually just with a pencil. I could have used a different kind of marker just to make some lines, and I need to go back and do some more, and I do on the ones on the picture, as you can see. And so that is what they look like up close. Here comes another one in. I decided to put a second tree, and I have marked a hidden mark as to where I want to line those up. and that one I mean. And so then I'm showing some of the little marks I have, some of the little markings I have. And I end up changing these trees around a little bit as to where they are grounded. And so that was all stuck together. And I have this, at this point, the tree on the left, I have it on top. And by the way, I use Tombow Mono Multi Glue, and it's repositionable glue. If you let it dry for a few minutes, you can take it up and down as many times as you want to once it's been dried, and it's wonderful for that. So then I decided, well, I'll pull this tree supposedly in the forefront, I'll pull it out in front. And so just that would be your preference. I did it both ways actually, and liked them both. It didn't matter that much. Now I have a larger deer from an old little paper booklet that I had, paper 6x6 tablet. I think it was called Bird Society or something, but these deer were in there and I had to cut them out. They're not stickers, and they were at least 3 sizes that I had, but this little bitty one, I'm going to put him at the back. Now I could have put him on top of the snow hill, and then I decided I'm going to make it a little more mysterious and have him back on the back side of the hill and kind of halfway hidden behind the tree. Either way is fine. And but these deer are so realistic and so much better than I could have colored them if I'd stamped them and colored them. And plus they were the right size, and that's not always easy to find. So the next thing, one of the other things that I really liked in the kit was this snowflake die. I love snowflake dies, and it cut beautifully. So I made a couple. You can see how pretty they are. And I put some glue just in the center of the snowflake. And then I'm going to use my long tweezers and then kind of decide where I want placement to be. And then I just lift up the ends to show that they're flexible and maybe make them a little more realistic. And so then the second one, I'll show you how I just put the glue right in the middle. Again, I let these dry because they turn from glossy to clear and glossy wet looking, and then I can move them around. And I'm moving this around to see, I'm not putting it down, but I'm just trying to see where I want to put it down. And I decided just to go ahead and stick it on top of the other one and make it very dimensional, the little spokes, for lack of a better word, going in between each other, so it makes it nice and full. And so that is pretty much the end of the scene. It's very, very simple, but it's all about the paper, and I think the paper is just absolutely gorgeous. It's thick, it's heavy, and I've had some of their glitter cardstock before and just love it. And so I hope you enjoy. I will show you at the end one more little thing I left out, and I will speed it up on how I first of all cut the snow hill, which is absolutely no big deal. And then I like to take ink and go with a rubber sponge or whatever you use, whatever tool you use, and go around all the edges. It just sets them off, white against white. And then I'm making some little marks on the tree and even some little shadows of snowdrifts on the hill. So I'm placing those on top of the white so you can see it really does stand out. You can't tell it so much when you're doing it. And so that, I think, I almost didn't do it, and I thought, no, just take the time, and it doesn't take much time, but just go ahead and make it stand out. And so then I got to playing with this third one that I was just experimenting with, and set it on there, and I thought, well, you know, you could have a third tree. I don't particularly want one. It's a little crowded to me and covers up more of that glitter paper, but it's okay. And then I thought, well, if I did that snow drift I just cut out, that snow hill, I could put it on there too. And with, I'm just playing around and being silly, but I would of course use some kind of foam mounting tape. But it really does give a shadow three-dimensional effect, and it is three-dimensional at this point. And of course you would make the tree go all the way to the top, and you'd have something decent to raise that up off the rest of the card. So anyway, thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed it. I appreciate you, and so come back soon. We'll have another one from this kit. And until then, have a wonderful rest of the day, and thank you again. Bye for now.